One thing young artists I've heard a lot struggle with is kind of getting discouraged or frustrated by their own skill level or where they're trying to go versus where they are currently. And I will, if I could impart a piece of advice, I don't know if I give advice, but in this case I will, don't take it personal. It's hard to do. I've done it. I think most artists at one time equate their worth as an artist to their current skill level. But I'll say this, that it's a long journey. It's a long road, and if you're just getting started, well, that's where you are right now. But there'll be time to improve. And the more you're able to kind of let go of the discouragement that comes, or the sense of lack of worth, that maybe you're having a moment where you're seeing your art in a way that is less than favorable, right? That's a perfect time to just set that aside and get back to work. Because just because you see something in your work at that moment that you don't like, that doesn't mean that other people see it. Or even if they do, it doesn't really matter. This isn't about them. This is about your journey, your path, and you're always getting better whether you notice it or not. As long as you stay working regularly on it. And work is maybe the wrong word. Developing it, creating your creative life is maybe a better way to put it. There's work in there too. It's not all fun and fancy free time, but it's not all hard work either. It's a mixture. And if you can see it as a mix of things, it's part play, it's part recreation, it's part hobby, it's part work, it's part discipline, it's part fun. Then you can kind of see it in all its different shades and tonations. Or if you can't see it yet, you at least leave the door open, the possibility open that this may be something more than what you had seen. You might be further along the path than you're giving yourself credit for. Perception is a heck of a thing. And it can creep up on us much in the same way that burnout does. The way we see our work is a lot harsher usually than other people see it. And, you know, that can be good, that can be bad. The good side of it keeps us working hard. Bad side of it is we can be pretty harsh on ourselves. Now, the world is going to be hard on us as artists, especially if we're trying to be professionals. So, it's not a bad thing to, strive and really push yourself. I think it only becomes bad when you start to have a negative view on your own creativity, on your own work. There's a difference between just starting out and feeling like your work is not worth anything. Those two things are totally different, right? There's an artist who's just starting out who's super excited to just be there. That's one way to look at the beginning. And those artists tend to excel very fast because they don't get in their own way. They're just eager. They're just so happy to be an artist, to be a creative, because not everybody gets to do this. And that's a gift. Just the ability to show up and make something. Regardless of what people see the quality level of your art or whatever you're creating, the fact that you get to be a creative is a heck of a gift. And a lot of people never get to step up to the plate and even try or give themselves permission. They've been told they could never do that. They're not talented enough, or whatever their head trip is. The young artist who's excited, or the new artist, should I say, who's excited and just eager to just see what's going to show up, that person is going to have a more exciting, fun, pleasant journey than the person who's always comparing themselves to other artists who've had many more years of experience or all kinds of other advantages that you may not have had. Give yourself some room and some grace to just develop and create and do it for yourself. I mean, I think validation and being online with your work, there's some value in that because you can meet other creative individuals and get some feedback and stuff. But I think we as a culture, as a society, get really caught up in this social validation, right? Likes and follows, unless you're monetizing that, unless you're finding a way to make a living out of that, which isn't as easy as it might seem online. It kind of doesn't mean as much as I think we take it to mean. And it can set up a really dangerous, it's kind of a trap in a way, where I've seen people who are just always chasing validation from other people, chasing that dopamine hit that comes from getting a certain amount of likes or a certain amount of attention online. And then you're just kind of following the audience in a way. I've had some friends who were in improv and stand-up comedy, and we were having a discussion about chasing the crowd versus leading the crowd, right? And the problem with chasing the crowd is you're always kind of chasing a trend. You're always 2 steps behind. The culture is behind the zeitgeist, is behind the people who are trend setting. And if you're going for what's cool in the moment, you're always going to be a little bit behind target and a little bit like Johnny come lately. Everybody's doing this, you know. I remember there were about 1 billion zombie games 5 or 10 years ago, and it was everybody's doing it, let's jump on the bandwagon kind of thing. And that looks, well, you're chasing the audience. It looks like that. It looks like you're not an idea person. And a big part of being an artist is having really interesting, out there, different ideas to bring to the table. It's not just that you can render or draw really well. It's that you can bring a cast of characters to the table that people haven't seen before, or you can do something within the framework of the project that wasn't expected or wasn't even, they weren't looking for it. But now that you brought it, it's really helpful. And that's what leading the audience looks like, in my opinion, my humble opinion. It's about bringing your own fresh perspective, your own lens to whatever you're working on, whether that be a project, whether that be whatever's on the table at the moment, even just a sketch day, is bringing your sensibilities, what makes it juicy for you, what keeps you interested in this subject matter. Those are your particular, that's your lane, your niche, what you love, right? And having a strong sense of what that is going to bring you a lot of unique perspective, unique takes on things, and a style, a subject matter that is uniquely yours. There's coming time, but this is what we celebrate, I believe, artists for. Bringing those ideas out from the outer edges of the fray to the mainstream, to the middle, to the center, you know, to people, just everyday people. That's what that looks like, because you are here doing what you love, and you have your niche or your niche, however you want to say it. And when you're doing what you truly love, what you love to do, when you're in your wheelhouse, your space, that's attractive, that's contagious. People like that and are drawn to that, so to speak. And that's a different way of attracting attention online or with other artists or just in the real world. And it's less people pleaser-ish, if that's a word. There was this old cartoon back in the day with these 2 dogs. There was a big dog and a little dog. And the big dog's name was Spike. And I don't know what the little dog's name was, but the little dog was he was a people pleaser. He just wanted to be cool. He just wanted to be there. Hey, Spike, what are we doing today, Spike? Come on, Spike, let's go get him, Spike. He was a yes man, a yes dog. And eventually Spike would get fed up with this little people pleaser, this little yes dog, and he'd say, shut up, and slap him. And the little dog would, just sit there looking stupid. And I kind of feel the same way when you're chasing the audience. You become that little dog, like, hey, what are we doing today, Spike? Hey, what's cool today? Let's do the cool thing. And that's less interesting, less artistic, less creative than doing what you think is really cool, what moves you, what you love. People are drawn to that, and over time that creates a momentum. And there is such a thing as creative license, artistic license. And when you are an artist, when you are a creative, I think it's very important to exercise that artistic license quite often, especially in your own space, in your own time, for your work, your projects, your sketching, your creative life. It's about you. It's when you get to be completely selfish and completely about what you're about, 100%. And imagine you take those 10,000 hours worth of time just to do what everybody else tells you to do. I don't know. I think that if you're going to work that hard at a discipline, at any skill, at something you really want to be doing, make that choice for yourself, which means you get to make choices. You get to do what you love. You get to make time for yourself. And that's all a part. If you read the fine print on the back of that creative license, that's what it says you can do. Thank you again. My name is Noah. I've been your host. This is the Big Bad Anime Channel. Signing off. Make art every day. It's a great day to make some art. Do a little sketching. Bust out the old sketch pad. We're having fun here. This has been part 3 of our first sketch series. Very soon to be continued in part 4. All right, you guys. Have a great day. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Peace.